looks like that we might be live. We are live. We are live on YouTube. We're live on Periscope. We're going to talk a little bit about Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman. I can only do these things live, man. I was just trying to record something for YouTube, and I just can't do it. It feels so like contrived. And I sit there and I'm like, hey, everybody, welcome to, I can't do that shit, man. I got to be live. I have trouble doing the recorded version. But yeah, what is up, everybody? My name is Jay Aletto of PWPNation.com. I am live on Periscope, live on YouTube. Hit that retweet button, share this video, hit like, hit subscribe. If you're on the tube, we need your support there. We're trying to build up that YouTube fan base the best that we can, man. It's tough. It ain't easy, brother. We're doing our best. So check us out on youtube.com/PWPNation, and also check us out on that Twitter machine. As hard as I try to not be like a salesman, man, I have to be. And thankfully, I just got a new job as a salesman selling cars, so I'm pumped about that. But the big news today, the absolute gigantic news, is that Paul Heyman has been named the executive director of Monday Night Raw. Eric Bischoff has been named the executive director of SmackDown Live. This is something that I don't think anybody really saw coming, but isn't outside the realm of all possibilities that have gone down within the past few months. Like, this has been crazy. 2019 has had so much news. It's been so crazy. I just don't even understand how much crazier it can get. We're heading right into this summer season, the time where wrestling is usually on a bit of a lull, but it's starting to pick up. We're starting to get some excitement going, heading into Fox, WWE's deal on Fox coming up in the fall. Thank you. I can't wait. Cannot wait to start my new gig on Monday. I'm pumped up, man. But I wrote a little article at pwpnation.com with a few suggestions about Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman taking over these roles as executive directors. A couple things I'm curious about is, I guess Triple H is still just going to focus on NXT. I guess that's what his priority is going to be because, I would think that he's in a position to move up the ladder, and maybe give the reins of NXT to somebody else. But I don't think he's ready to stop NXT yet, being the guy for NXT. I think he likes it. I think he enjoys being down there, and he still wants to keep that job. I don't think Stephanie McMahon wants this job. I doubt Shane McMahon is even cut out for this job, although he might be. He might be. But for some reason, we've gone with Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff. So we'll see how this plays out. The first thing that I definitely know needs to happen with this brand new executive director role for both Mr. Heyman and Mr. Bischoff, you got to eliminate this wild card rule. This thing needs to go away. And I think that goes without being said. I think everybody's going to agree with me. The wild card rule is a complete mess. It's a joke. It doesn't help differentiate the wrestlers from each show, and it gets confusing. I don't like it. I'm not sure if you like it, but I don't like it. And we're going to get rid of the wild card rule if it's up to me. That's just one thing that I think is complete trash. It sucks. It bogs down the product. Number two, and this is really the number one for me, stop defeating your champions on television. Stop. This needs to be completely eliminated and wiped out from all possibilities of happening on WWE TV, and here's why. This past Monday on Raw, we had Ricochet come off a huge win, biggest win of his career over Samoa Joe at Stomping Grounds. And a great match, by the way. If that match was on a takeover, people would still be talking about it today. Fantastic match. Ricochet gets the biggest win of his life. But the next night, as the new United States champion, he loses clean to AJ Styles. In the middle of the ring. Done. Now, in the UFC, is this the way they make championship matches? Is this the way a contender moves up the ranks to become a champion? Nope. That is not the way they do it, man. You cannot, in the UFC, you're not going to have a non-title fight against the champion, and then that'll earn you a championship fight. That's just not how it works. It doesn't happen in the NFL, doesn't happen in the NBA, doesn't happen in golf, doesn't happen anywhere. It doesn't happen. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. So allowing your champions to continually suffer defeat in non-championship matches to top contenders showcases your champion as a loser. You don't want the champions to look like complete losers out there. And that's what happened this past week to Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. It happened to Ricochet, and it happened to Bayley. They look like losers. Okay, they won at Stomping Grounds, but for some reason, they can't win on TV. This doesn't make any sense. You need to build up these contenders. They need to run through the ranks. Look at what Paul Heyman did in ECW. Now, I'm an ECW mark. I love ECW. I can go back and watch episode after episode of ECW on the WWE Network. I can, and I want to. That's what I do. I do it a lot, and you look at the pushes there. You look at Taz, pushed through the ranks, won the television title, created his own title, the F the World title, the FTW title, moved on to the World Championship, destroyed everybody in his path before he got there. Look at Rob Van Dam, same thing. You built him up. He became champion. Then he became double champion. He was built up strong. This is what WWE needs. You need to literally go all in on some of these wrestlers. A lot of them are so damaged. Kevin Owens is damaged. Sami Zayn is damaged. A lot of your NXT call-ups, the Revival, they're damaged. These are damaged goods. Drew McIntyre, he's getting damaged. These guys are damaged goods and girls, and you cannot allow that to continually happen. So that needs to change. In WCW, Eric Bischoff had a great staff around him to help him book the wrestling part of things when he was kind of paying attention to the storyline side, the production side, all that stuff. He was the president. He admits openly that he got more involved in creative as time went on in his run, of course, with the NWO and everything. But the wrestling side of things, the feuds, he would give that to Dusty Rhodes, Kevin Sullivan. Those guys would work on a lot of that stuff, especially with the mid-card. So, those are things that he needs to help put in play for his show, for SmackDown. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be able to build a team around him. What if a guy like Kevin Sullivan comes back and is now helping to book SmackDown Live? That would be different. Number 2, my second major suggestion is they need to force production changes. We've seen SmackDown and Raw look pretty similar to each other for the better part of the last 10 years, maybe 15 years. Let's go all the way back 20 years almost. Raw has the same basic production premise. I get it right now. They're kind of streamlined. Everything is done very easily. You have the same set on both shows. Just one is red, one is blue, one says Raw, one says SmackDown. The same entranceway, the same camera angles, the same backstage announcer who looks away from the camera at somebody walking away from them when they're done with an interview and they just kind of smile and nod and just look perplexed. It's silly. It's been the same thing year after year after year. And this is all a part of Kevin Dunn. Kevin Dunn is the main producer of WWE. He's the guy who sits behind the keyboard and does his thing, presses buttons, whatever, helps direct the show. Now that Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are taking over as executive directors, I want to see production changes. I want to see these two shows look completely different. I want to see Raw look different than SmackDown. I want to see SmackDown look different than Raw. All right, you get it? This might not be a possibility. At the end of the day, production is production. This might not happen. But I'd like to see them try something different. Paul Heyman is amazing at taking wrestlers that are weak in certain areas and getting the best out of them. Whether it's a change of gimmick, putting them in situations backstage or outside of the arena to help accentuate their characters so you can get to know them better. He did this a lot with Raven in ECW. He would have Raven hanging out in a park in the middle of the night, sitting on a swing talking, or in some dirty ass back alley. Greetings to Russia, what's up? Or they would have him in just weird scenarios to make him look grunge and mean. And, he would talk very slow and it would help build his character. They need to do this again. We're seeing that a little bit with Bray Wyatt right now with Aleister Black. They're in different scenarios that's making them stand out. So I really want to see a change in overall production. And suggestion number 3, and then I'll get out of here. We're going to make this thing short and sweet. Something's wrong with my Periscope. What's wrong with it, man? What's wrong? It's probably just your internet, dude. I'm also live on YouTube, so try YouTube. PWP Nation on YouTube. Go over there, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube and you like the video, please press that like button and hit subscribe if you want, man. All right, so my third suggestion, the final suggestion, is schedule free agency, trade windows, a trade deadline, and contract negotiations for all your wrestlers. Now, this is something that's going to lend itself to the sports world. A major part of enjoying sports, traditional sports, NBA, NFL, MLB, UFC even, is the business of the sport. If you watch ESPN, it's hard to go through an entire episode without talking about trades, without talking about free agencies, money, all this kind of good stuff. People love this stuff, man. People love it. And I think Fox Sports would love it if they created some kind of system where you're going to have yearly trading deadline, where the two shows can trade with each other in this window. Maybe create free agency windows and contracts for wrestlers. They don't have to be shoot contracts. We don't really have to know what Apollo Crews makes for how many years. We don't need to know the real number, but make something up. Work us. We want to be worked. Work us, man. We want to fucking be worked, man. Excuse me. We want to be worked. Drop the F-bomb. Try not to do that. Work us. All right? Work us. Work your fans. All right? Have journalists that have knowledge of backstage contracts, of wrestlers' contracts and whatnot. Make this stuff something that you can scale. If you have guys who are like at the bottom of the card, their contracts obviously aren't as heavy as a guy like Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. Have those negotiations happen and have them feel real. Like, think about it. A guy like Dolph Ziggler, he's been up and down for years now, sporadically disappearing from WWE. Imagine him sitting in an office with Paul Heyman and they're discussing a real life, and Vince McMahon, you could throw Vince in there, and they're really discussing the contract. They're really discussing Dolph Ziggler's character moving forward, what he's going to do on the show, how often he's going to be involved, if he's going to have a title run, whatever. Give us that. Give us an inside peek. It doesn't have to be the entire conversation. It could be completely a work. Give us something. All right, bring them inside the executive director's office. A real conversation. And this trading deadline idea, have an open trading window every single year. Commit to this. Do it every year, just like the NBA does. The NBA has a trade deadline every single year, and it's like at the same date. I guess it's somewhere around the All-Star break. Okay? That's the same every year, no matter what. Fans become accustomed to it. They look forward to it. Same in baseball. You got the hot stove of free agency, the trading deadlines, all that stuff. Do it, commit to it, and just let it happen. See what happens. It can get you in and out of different scenarios when it comes to storylines. And if you want to do this crazy wild card idea, just do a trade. Just do a trade. Simplify it. Have it be with all brands. Why not be able to trade somebody who's at the lower tier of SmackDown Live? Trade them to NXT. Trade them to NXT UK. Mix it up a little bit. Try something different. I also think free agents should come up more often. I have a feeling that the rumor already broke that NXT is going to get completely raided. They're going to get completely decimated when Fox takes over SmackDown Live in the fall. So either way, I don't have all the answers. I don't have any of the answers. I don't claim to. I'm not even qualified to do this. But I think if you take these 3 suggestions I made and incorporate them in some way, shape, or form, doesn't have to be in complete form, but at least take them under advisement, because I feel like they all would add something that WWE desperately needs. To recap this. Number 1, of course, this is like 1A. Without even talking about this, get rid of the wild card rule. It sucks. Suggestion 1, don't defeat your champions in non-championship matches for number 1 contenders. There's no reason why a champion should lose so the next contender for the title is made. That doesn't make any sense. Force some production changes is number 2. Change the way Raw looks, change the way SmackDown looks, make it feel different. Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman are both great at this. I think this should definitely happen without question. This should happen. And suggestion number 3, brother. Number 3, schedule free agency, trade deadlines, and contract negotiations for your wrestlers. Make it feel real. It doesn't have to be a shoot. Make it feel like one. Work us to death. Have Eric Bischoff sit backstage with The Undertaker and discuss some stuff with him. Make it feel real. Do something different outside the box. WWE has been stuck inside this creative box for years now. And hopefully this is an opportunity for them to break down the walls of this box. Once again, my name is Jay Leto. Thank you so much if you watched on YouTube or on Periscope. If you're on YouTube or Periscope, please head on over, hit that follow button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for more content just like this in the weeks and months to come. Thank you so much. And make sure you visit pwpnation.com for wrestling news, articles about the pro wrestling business, brother. And I am the greatest GTS wrestling referee of all time. That's me. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Right, that N